Zinco was born to offer advanced services to the hot dip galvanizing industry worldwide. So mostly we focus on two areas. One is the area of services supporting kettle changes for our customers, and the other area is kettle inspection services, which is advanced diagnostic services. The Zinco team is a small but very professional and compact team. In Italy, I have 4 people on my team, and all of them are 4 women, actually. So our operations manager is Maria, and then we have Emanuela, Eliana, and Veronica. Our operations manager in Canada as well is a woman, and is Muriel. So I think that's also a special thing about our company and our way of thinking, is to break the mold and to break the tradition. And one of the things is breaking tradition with that as well. Zinc is the essential ingredient of the hot dip galvanizing industry, but maybe a lot of people don't know that it is used in many other fields of our everyday life. You can find zinc in paste for little kids, in cosmetics for women, in vitamins and supplements, and you can find it in many other applications, some of which are kind of sad. It's used also in funeral arrangements for that. So the technologies that we use today to deliver services to galvanizers are a mix of old and new. Some of the technologies existed already, but we adapted them and we changed them to cater to our services, and that would be particularly applicable to the pump out services and the kettle changes services. On the contrary, the very new technology, which is what we use for the kettle inspections, called KID technology, that we invented from scratch. So we created that technology in collaboration with the National Research Council of Canada, and we really can be proudly saying that we invented it. What really makes our services unique, I think, is the fact that we bring very advanced innovation and technology into the services to cater to our customers and resolve a problem or answer to a need they have. So I think what really makes it unique is the fact that we have taken new technologies, we have taken innovative technologies from other fields, and we've brought them into the hot dip galvanizing industry to make sure that this industry would have answers to the needs and the problems of everyday's plant management. The one day that I remember best, and has been probably the happiest in my career so far with Zinco, was the day that I received an email from Canada, and there was this picture showing the researcher close to one immersed probe in zinc, and he was doing a thumbs up, and I understood finally that it was working. And that was a great day because I knew that that was going to change the company, my life, and it actually changed my company and my life. So it was a very important day. The absolute worst day in my career so far has been a day in January of 2007. It was the first time that we had brought the kettle inspection technology to the United States, so there was a lot of expectation, and we had this long tour. It was a long trip with the equipment and a team, starting from Houston, Texas, and moving across the United States. And everybody was very excited. We get on site first day, set it up, start working, and in about 10 minutes, all of our probes died out on us. So we're stuck in the middle of the United States. It's the first time we do a job, and it doesn't seem to be working. And I'm very worried, and I'm really in shock because I know that I have 4 other jobs in the line, and my team is very disoriented. So I remember going back to the hotel and almost giving up, sitting in this very dark room. I didn't even flip on the light, and I was sitting in the dark and thinking, what am I gonna do? You know, this thing didn't work, and all our hopes and investments in this market are not gonna work. And I'm sitting there, and there was a voice in my head, which might have been my father's voice probably, that said, you know, stand up and go back to work. And so we went back to work. We worked for 27 hours at night. We reconstructed every single piece of the probes, and they worked. And after that, we went on and did all the tour. And on the way to the airport, because it's Houston, where NASA is, there was this little cap in the shop with a sentence, a phrase from NASA, from the Apollo 13 mission that said, failure is not an option. And I thought it was very appropriate to that story, but ever since it has become our motto. And I'm very proud to say that there has been many days in our jobs where we looked at each other and we said, wait, failure is not an option. There are many interesting stories because this job has taken me and our crews around the world in many different situations. But the one little story that I remember best is one time we were in Australia and I was with a technician and we were traveling to do services. And one morning we wake up very early to go to another city and he starts driving and I was very sleepy and so I didn't pay attention. And then he stops in the middle of the road and I say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Stop and come out." And we go out and we look at the stars and it was amazing because I have never seen so many stars in my life. And we could see the Milky Way straight in the center of the road up on top of us. And I thought it was fantastic. It made us feel, wow, we're on the other side of the world under the Milky Way. Look where this job has taken us. And it was a very special day. I think it's not that hard. My father has always been a person that is very special, so working with my father is not that difficult. First of all, we're very different, and I think difference helps because we have different skills. He has a tremendous technical experience. He's a very good guy to go and work with. I am obviously a little younger, less experienced, but I'm very innovative and I work more into the marketing, communication, R&D. So we complement each other very well. So we don't fight very much because we don't share the same territory, but we're also a very good team and he's taught me so many things. I think maybe the only hard part about working with him is that he's very good. I think the one thing that is becoming increasingly more difficult in running a company generally and that I don't like about my job is the level of uncertainty. Everything is difficult to forecast, markets change very rapidly, and we operate in a global economy. So we have to cater to a global economy and a global market. So all of a sudden you're a small company, but you have to think global. And that's interesting, but it's certainly the most difficult thing. And the thing that I like the less about my job. If I had to change my job today, if I had to do something different, I have a passion for cooking and food. So I would probably want to be a chef. I always think that I'm doing the job of one of my grandfathers who worked in galvanizing. So maybe I should do the job of my other grandfather who was a carpenter. Nowadays I don't have a lot of spare time. What I like to do in my spare time is essentially right now spending time with my family. I have a 3.5-year-old son that I love very much. So we try to spend time together and travel. But I'm like everybody else, I like reading, cooking, and sleeping on the sofa, I guess. The amount of time that we dedicate to our job is a lot because we're a small company, family. You tend to think your company is your life. So my typical day would probably start 6 a.m. Twice a week I try to go to the gym. After the gym I go to work. And then I work until lunchtime. I'm very lucky I can break for lunch and go back home with my family and then go back to work. I think in total I probably spend about 10 to 12 hours a day when I'm not traveling. 40% of my time is spent traveling, so it's difficult to say how long those days are. When you travel, you have no timetable, so you work when you have to work. What do we hope for the future? You always hope for many different things, and for a company you obviously hope for success. But what success means for us, I think, is we're very proud of what we do, the way we do it, and the technology that we have invented. So I think the most that we hope for the future is for the entire global industry in galvanization to accept our technologies and services as a standard, which has already been happening, and that's really what makes you feel very special. So I hope that path continues in the future so that we can make a difference in our business. What is innovation? Obviously, I give the answer that I have experienced for myself and for my company. For us, innovation is not being afraid. It's to wake up one morning, you have a vision, and you know it's going to be right, but most of the people around you think you're crazy. And that happened to us when we started with our KID technology. A lot of people were very skeptical and thought it wouldn't work. But innovation for me is to have a vision, believe in the vision, and work very hard to get there, regardless of failures, obstacles, problems. And so I think innovation is most of all courage. What does it mean for us today to service our customers across the world? For me, it means essentially responding to a precise need of the customer. I do not like offering services that are my vision of what my customers need. Everything we do, we've been galvanizers for 3 generations. For us, providing a service to galvanizers is to imagine their needs, understand their needs, talk to them, and deliver the needs and the goods that they expect from us, and respond to the needs and resolve the problem. So delivering a service is essentially understanding who you're talking to and being able to cater and to cut, to measure what you're doing for this. And I think Zinco is very special in that, because for us, every customer has a name. And with the name comes the identity, with the identity comes the relationship.